UFC Fight Night in Paris. Let's talk about it. This weekend, the UFC is bringing war back to the City of Love, where the Frenchman and God of War himself, Benoit Saint Denis, faces off with Renato Moicano in the main event. Looking at the card, it is pretty top heavy. We're fighting in Paris though, which I have to say, after rewatching some of these fights, holy shit, is that an electric environment.
It's loud, it's powerful, it's intimidating, and it is a cauldron in here.
And there's also 9 French fighters on this. I didn't even know there was that many people in the UFC that were from France. So regardless of name value, the atmosphere is gonna be absolutely incredible. But I love this main event. Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis. What a fucking banger, dude. Let's dig into it. Benoit Saint Denis. I think a little misconception about Benoit is he's this heavy-handed fucking savage. Truth is, he's very well-rounded. 4 wins by knockout, 9 by submission. We look back at his fights, obviously the loss to Dustin Poirier was, how much can you take away from that? It's Dustin freaking Poirier. A special moment in sports, Dustin Poirier coming back and getting the knockout. But the reason it was so special was one of 2 things. First of all, the implications on that fight was, Dustin's getting fed to the wolves. You got Benoit rising up the ranks. Dustin Poirier's been kind of holding his top spot for so long. It kind of felt like one of those, hey, here's the new guy, let's see what you can do. If Benoit wins that fight, he's a superstar. He's probably fighting Islam right now. But second reason being is Benoit looked good. Benoit looked good. This was Dustin's world famous don't be silly, jump the ghillie fight. And Benoit was dominating most of the first round and then ends up getting knocked out in the second round. Special moment for Dustin Poirier, but you can't take much away from Benoit from that. I mean, Dustin just went toe-to-toe with Islam Makhachev. He's one of the best in the world and has been for a long time. Before that, he was on an absolute tear, though. You look at Matt Frivola, I mean, he kicked his fucking head off. Thiago Moises knocked him out in the second round, looked very competitive and very willing to grapple with Thiago Moises. Ismail Bonfim face crank in the first round, and then in his second round knockout, second round rear naked choke. Lost in his UFC debut, but since then, it's been on an absolute tear. One thing I'll say is, aside from Dustin Poirier, his competition is not the highest. I like Ismail Bonfim. I think his only loss is to Benoit. But you look at a guy like Matt Frivola, like these aren't guys these aren't top 15 contenders. But what you want to see when you have a guy that doesn't have all this kind of high quality competition and a guy that got knocked out in the second round by Dustin Poirier is that he's dominating these other motherfuckers. Like I don't think anybody doubts that Benoit's not ready for the big show. I think he's ranked 11 right now, but he's a special character. The reason I find this fight so interesting is because I think they both want to grapple. Benoit starts fast. He throws heavy hands. He'll take a hit to get in, but he was looking to press you against the cage and then strip you to the ground. On the flip side, you got Renato Moicano, which is just one of the most, before we say anything about Renato Moicano, I just want to give you a quick roll through of some of his mic skills because he is so fucking funny.
This is disrespect. I took a fight, 5-round fight in 4 days notice. Short day notice. I was drinking beer, eating steaks in Brazil. And they called me and I'm come here. I traveled 24 hours and disrespect me. I want bonus. Moicano wants money.
What a fight.
Can I talk to you a little bit?
Yes.
My father is 62 years old and he had a baby yesterday. Tomorrow when I get home, I'm gonna get my wife pregnant another time. Because if my father, 62 years old, can populate the world, I can too.
It's hard to root against Renato because he's just so much fun. And he really is. I mean, he's fought the best of the best. When we talk about Saint Denis, just from length in the UFC, he just hasn't had that top level competition. Renato has. He's been in the UFC for 10 years. Jalen Turner, Drew Dober, Brad Riddell, RDA. He's fought Rafael Fiziev. He's fought the Korean Zombie, Jose Aldo, Brian Ortega. And some of them are losses for sure. Started at featherweight, moved his way up to lightweight. Since being at lightweight, he's 6-2. The only 2 losses he has at lightweight are Rafael Fiziev and Rafael Dos Anjos. Maybe he's just got troubles with Rafael's. I'm not sure. Speaking of Rafael, where has he been? Where's Fiziev been? I miss that young guy. I want to highlight this Jalen Turner fight because it was This was a really big spot for Renato Moicano. I mean, when you think back to that fight, the story of the fight is, you know, Jalen Turner knocked him out in the first and let him get to the bell, and then Renato Moicano kind of comes back and gets him out of there in the second, which is true, but rewatching it, I mean, Renato really dominated this fight, and Jalen Turner's a bad motherfucker. This is the Jalen Turner that was just coming off of a absolute war with Dan Hooker, an absolute dismantling of Bobby Green. Then he gets put into the 300 spotlight and runs into the bad boy Renato Money Moicano himself. Really, really fun fight. Renato being a dog is not surprising. I think personally I lean Benoit as well. I don't know if I do. Fuck. This is 50-50 in my mind. I truthfully think it's going to be grappling. They're going to grapple. I think there's going to be some ugly stand-up boxing that leads to grappling either on the fence or on the ground. And Renato is just so fucking good. But Benoit's so damn strong. Fuck it, I'm taking the dog. Renato Moicano. Renato Moicano, I'm taking the dog. Ah, it's in France though. God, it's in France. It's going to be so electric. I don't know. God, my gut just said Renato though. Renato by decision. That's final.
I cannot afford to lose.